Good morning, folks. My name is Kurt Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. The purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if there's probable cause for those charges, and then we'll set your conditions of pretrial release, that is your bail or your bond. In most cases, you've had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit, or the warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. I'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this morning. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you have not had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, advise that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. I now need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. You all solemnly swear or affirm, tell truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth? Outstanding. When you hear your name called, please step forward to the podium. Michelle Booth. Morning, Michelle. Date of birth?
12/10/1971.
All right, Michelle, this morning we had two issues. First is an arrest for violation of an injunction, and second is a warrant that I signed for violation of injunction. There's probable cause for both charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, would you like the public defender?
I'll take a public defender. Your Honor, can I just settle this today?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm pretty sure that one of these happened within 24 hours of me putting you on probation. So you have that coming too.
Your Honor,
Don't talk about the facts of your case, ma'am. It says at the time.
Sorry.
Yep. Okay. Well, we put her on Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. Right. Okay. I'm going to appoint the public defender. As to both of these cases, I'm going to set a bond of $2,500, so that's a total of $5,000. They're both coming back on the 11th of April. If you don't get out, the public defender is going to come see you before that court date, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Kelly Crawford. Ms. Crawford, what's your date of birth?
11/23/71.
Kelly, you're here on a warrant signed by Judge Merritt. He found probable cause for violation of probation. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD. The bond on the warrant is no bond. I can't change that. I am going to change the date, Kelly. They told you April 9th. It'll be the 3rd of April. The public defender will come see you before then, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Helen Hetzel. Ms. Hetzel, what's your date of birth?
12/8/66.
Charge this morning is driving on a suspended license. There's probable cause for the charge. As to the charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint you?
Am I able to settle this today?
Maybe. Ben, you got an offer today? It looks like a money list to me, based on her driving records. I mean,
Okay.
She's got some history, but all of the suspensions, and there are many, are either traffic fines or unpaid fines from CT cases.
Okay. 10 days.
Helen, 10 days in the county jail if you want to settle it today. Otherwise, we'll talk about your bond.
You're saying 10 days in county jail?
That's what I said.
That's what you're offering me?
Yep.
I'll take the 10 days.
Okay, you sure?
What was your offer?
Well, you don't have to take the 10 days. We can talk about your bond. I'm certainly, I think, going to reduce your bond. So if you want to try to bond out, you can do that. I don't want you to feel like you don't have a choice but taking 10 days.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get a bond though, but I don't know if you're going to bond me or not.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. You hold on. Let's hear about your history and see what I'd set your bond at, and then you'll be making an informed decision, all right?
All right, I'm showing a probation violation out of Hernando County in 2015, a failure to appear on a Hillsborough in 2014, disposition guilty for reckless driving in 2008, a felony duelist or revoked, 2008, adjudication withheld out of Brooksville, failure to appear on a Hernando County in 2005, and a failure to appear on a Hernando County in 2002, and a failure to appear on a Hernando County in 2000.
Right.
Okay. Helen, I have an address for you on Riviera Court in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
3 years?
And do you have a job these days?
No, sir.
Was that a yes?
No, sir.
No, okay. Well, Helen, so here's the choice. I would set your bond at $500, which would probably cost you $100 through a bondsman if you want to try to bond out, or you can take the 10 days. So those are your choices. What do you think you'd like to do?
10 days.
All right.
How many 10 days?
All right. You understand by entering a plea today, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent. But you want to give up those rights, and the right to have a lawyer. But you want to give up those rights so we can resolve this case today?
Yes, sir.
As to the charge that you drove knowing your license had been suspended or revoked, how do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
No contest.
I'll accept that plea, find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 10 days in the county jail, credit 2 days served. Fine and court cost is $438 and your cost of incarceration. But that takes care of it, Helen. You just need to finish the time, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good luck. Beverly Jones. Morning, Ms. Jones. What's your date of birth?
7/10/59.
Ms. Jones, the charge this morning is aggravated assault. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. State.
I'm showing a dropped battery in 2003, a adjudication withheld in 91 for resist arrest without violence, and an adjudication withheld for resisting arrest without violence in 91. And I'm showing an aggravated battery, but there's no disposition on that out of 91 as well. So I'm thinking that they amended it to be resisting arrest.
Right. Beverly, I have an address for you on Thorncrest Avenue in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
At that address, I stayed there 8 years, but I just moved to another one, Thorncrest.
Okay. How long have you lived in Hernando County?
All my life.
Okay. And do you live with Jacqueline Jones?
No.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
No.
Are you related to Jacqueline Jones?
It's my daughter.
Okay, there we go. All right, Beverly, I'm going to set your bond on this charge at $2,000. Condition of the bond is that you'll have no contact with Jacqueline. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message, you don't contact her through any social media. Don't have a third person contact her. Don't go where she lives. Don't go where she works. Don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine contacting her, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and we find out about it, your bond can be revoked and you can be held up without bond until the charges are resolved. It means no contact even if she wants to contact. So if you answer your phone and hear her voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see her, you should turn around and run the other way. You need to understand that she cannot drop the charges against you. That's not a decision she gets to make. She may go to the state attorney's office and ask them to drop the charges. She may tell them she's not interested in pursuing this matter. But that decision belongs solely to the assistant state attorney handling your case. So unless that person or the judge on your case tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they're not dropped and you should not have contact. In addition, I have to hold you to jail today up until 4 p.m. so that if she wanted to serve you with a civil injunction for protection against domestic violence, we'd know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact. because in that case, not only could you get your bond revoked here, but you could get new charges for violating the injunction. I'll have you back in court on the 9th of April. If you get out, Beverly, very important that you contact the public defender's office right away, all right?
Okay.
Thank you. Bianca Jones. Miss Jones, what's your date of birth?
1/4/91.
Bianca, you're here on 2 counts. I have burglary of a conveyance and carrying a concealed weapon. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
PD.
I'll point the PD statement.
Your Honor, I'm showing that she's a single source offender, showing a probation violation on Hernando County in 2017, and it looks like a charge of violating Florida pawnbroker on Hernando County in 2011, and then a violation of repeat sex date injunction 2011 that was dropped. Other than that, Your Honor, there's no other history.
All right. And Bianca, I have an address for you also on Thorncrest Avenue. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you been there?
3 days.
Okay. Where were you living before that?
Up the street.
Okay.
Live on the same street.
Okay. Do you live with Siobhan?
No.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
No.
Okay. All right. In your case, on the burglary, I'll set the bond at $2,000. On the carrying concealed weapon at $500. That's a total of $2,500. Condition of your bond says that you'll have no contact with Siobhan Jones. Did you hear me explain no contact a moment ago?
Yes.
And you understood that?
Yes.
Very good. You'll also be back in court on the 9th of April. Very important that you contact the public defender when you get out, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Carmelita McClendon. Want to miss what's your date of birth?
12/16/76.
Ma'am, the charge this morning is aggravated assault, being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Private counsel.
Very good. State.
Your Honor, I'm not showing any history.
And Carmelita, I have an address for you on Ardenwood Drive in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
I do.
How long have you lived there?
Since August.
Okay. And Nathan lives there too?
Yes.
Do you have a job these days?
I do. I work from home.
Okay. What sort of work do you do?
Travel agent.
Okay. Carmelita, I'm going to set your bond at $100. The condition of the bond is that if you choose to have contact with Nathan, it must be contact that is able to be described as peaceful contact. So I'm not telling you two that you have to have contact with each other, but if you do have contact, can't be obviously you can't touch each other any way you don't want to be touched. You can't yell or scream at each other. You can't do anything that I can't describe as peaceful. If we should hear that something like that had happened, one or both of you could wind up back in jail without bond. Do you understand that?
I do.
Okay. I'll have you back in court on the 9th of April. Make sure you tell your lawyer about that date, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary Morin? Want to Mary, what's your date of birth?
1964.
All right, Mary, you're here on a warrant that was signed by Judge Toner. Apparently you failed to appear in his court on a charge of possession of controlled substance. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender? I'll appoint the PD. Judge Toner set your bond at $20,000. I can't change that. I'll send you back to see him on the 9th of April. If you can't get out, the public defender will come see you before your court date and talk about your case, okay? Larry Acor?
Yes, sir.
Wonder, Mr. Acor, what's your date of birth?
5/25/66.
Mr. Acor, you're here on a warrant that was signed by Judge Toner. He found probable cause for 2 charges. Count 1 is sexual battery upon a person incapacitated by an intoxicating substance. Count 2 is contributing to the delinquency of a minor. As to those charges you wish to represent yourself, you're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD, Steve.
Your Honor, we've asked that Mr. H.R. be appointed conflict counsel. It's my understanding that witnesses in the case are represented by the public defender, so it's probably easiest now to just not even assign the public defender.
Okay. I'm not sure that I can make that happen without them withdrawing first.
Okay.
I think I have to appoint them, and then they withdraw, and then they...
Sounds
and I think
like
that's
the plan,
what
then.
happens. And then, is Mr. Acor serving a prison sentence now?
He was, I believe his end of sentence was this week, and
Oh, okay.
they transported him back here before his end of sentence for these warrants.
Okay. And then what can you tell me about his history?
It's extensive and goes back to the 80s. It is consistently drug-riddled situations, violations of probation. There are multiple grand thefts, petty thefts, multiple violations of probation, dwellers, larcenies, paraphernalia. There's failure to appears on his record. There's firearm by felon convictions on his record. I think that's what he was in the Department of Corrections for. There's also, it looks like right around the time that that he went to DOC, there was a domestic battery that it looks like was dropped right before he went away. We'd ask that any condition of bond for Mr. H.R. include a GPS condition, and obviously no contact with the victim, no contact with any minors under the age of 18. And we'd ask that the bond be kind of a little bit higher. He does have failure to appears. This is a I believe it's a first-degree felony, punishable by at least up to 30 years, not at least, punishable by up to 30 years. If it's not a light felony, I'm not sure.
Your Honor, can I please speak?
He has an attorney. You have to let me first.
Okay. And who is here that wants to speak?
The ladies behind me are the defendant's daughters who wanted to, I guess, tell the court about their community ties. But
Okay.
Clearly we should talk. First of all,
Whoa. Just hang on.
I'm sorry, I do not need to overstep you. I'm sorry.
Hang on. Okay. If the two of you want to tell me something that relates to setting bond for this gentleman, I'll hear that. I don't want to hear what you think about the charges. I don't want to hear what you think about the case or the history. All we're doing today is setting bond conditions. Okay, so this isn't the day to talk about what happened or what you think about what happened. If you want to tell me something that might relate to his ties to the community or what might a reasonable bond be, I'm happy to hear that. If you have something else that you were hoping to say today, today is not the day.
We do. Clearly we were on the wrong side.
Okay, well, come on forward. Raise your hand. Solemnly swear, affirm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
State your name.
My name's Audrey Gaines.
All right. Audrey, what do you want to tell me?
Well, for starters, this is absolutely insane. So we want to request the smallest bond that you can possibly give us, or even an R&R with us to watch him. Like, this is absurd. Like, this is absolutely crazy.
Okay, so you're talking about the charges.
Yeah.
In other words.
I just need the bond to be the lowest.
I just need to understand. Another judge found probable cause and signed a warrant. I don't
Yes,
know
sir.
anything about the facts. I have no idea. That's why I didn't want to talk to you guys about
Yes,
the
sir.
facts. I'm just stuck with this warrant.
I understand that.
Okay? And he's here. I tell him he has a warrant. I said bonds, frankly, based upon several things, including the severity of the charges, which I get you don't think make any sense, and his history. Okay?
His
That's
history,
why
though,
I'm
with
here.
charges, he has not been charged with everything that was just listed.
Okay.
No, sir.
Like, that is a lot that she just listed that he has not been charged with. So everything that just said really made him look horrible, which is not true. It made him look as if he's this active criminal that has just been going on and on and on, which is not true.
Okay.
No.
He just came here from prison, right?
He did, but he came here from prison for one bullet that was my sister's. It wasn't even his that they charged him with because he is a felony from, like, the 90s. This isn't
From
like
driving charge in 2000, sir.
Okay.
like this.
My felony is driving on suspended driver's license.
Okay.
And I've never had no grand thefts. I don't know where that comes
Never.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell me?
I just want my dad to come home. We are here as a family, united as a family, to stand behind our father.
Okay.
And we really need a smaller bond to get him home where he belongs, not here. This is ridiculous.
Okay. Do you want to speak? Okay. Okay.
Judge, if the court's inclined to not set a bond, we'd ask to bring him back Monday so that...
I'm setting a bond. He's entitled to bond. Okay? I mean, they're not going to like it because the bond is based on the charges in the warrant and what I know of his history, which is he's a convicted felon. Okay? And that's what I have to do. So, and you know, the statute regarding charges like this requires GPS, among other things, requires a higher bond. So I get that they don't like the charges, but that is not why we're here. So the 2 counts of sexual battery are going to be $25,000 each, $1,000 on the contributing. That's a total of $51,000. Condition of bond will be GPS monitoring, no contact with the alleged victim, and no contact with anyone under the age of 18. And ladies, I need you not to react to that in any way. If you're going to leave, you're going to leave quietly. If you don't do that for me, I can hold you in contempt, and we can make this even a worse day. So when you go, please go quietly. He'll be back in court on the 9th of April. Sir, if you can't get out, the public defender will come see you at the jail before your court date, okay?
Sir.
I'm
Sir.
done. Mr. Acor, I'm done. Thank you. Cody Curl? Cody, what's your date of birth?
8/31/90.
Hang on 1 second, Cody. All right, Cody, you're here on 3 different warrants. 2 of them are violation of probation warrants that I signed. One of them is a failed to appear warrant that Judge Rupi signed. So there's probable cause for all 3. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, or would you like the public defender?
Public defender. Can they be handled today?
Cody, it could, but only with 4 months in the county jail. If you don't want to take 4 months in the county jail, then there's no reason for you to do that today. I'm happy to appoint you a lawyer and see if you can get something better than that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So on the 2 VOPs, I've appointed the public defender. The bond on those warrants is no bond. I'm going to have those back on the 11th of April. And the FTA, I'll leave that bond at $1,000. So I'm going to have that one also back on the 11th. So all 3 of them will be coming back on April 11th, Cody. The PD is going to come see you before then. And if there's a way to get everything wrapped up then, that's what we'll do, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Sure, what's up? Joseph Earl. Want to Joe, what's your date of birth?
9/26/82.
Joe, you're here on a writ of bodily attachment. That means a circuit judge and a child support hearing officer determined that you owe some child support. They said a cash purge is $669. Do you have that much money, Joe?
No, sir, I have any money, but my...
Hang on,
Right.
Joe. Are you working these days?
No, sir. I'm labeled as disabled from a condition that I caught in Hillsborough County Jail. My doctor labeled me as disabled.
Okay, are you disabled as far as Social Security is concerned? Are you on SSD?
I have not yet been able to receive disability or anything. I thought that I had to pay for a lawyer to fight for me, my disability, and I just found out like a couple months ago that I did not.
You don't. And how long has it been since you worked, Joe?
Well, I was in prison from 2009 to 2015. Before then, I worked.
Did you work after you got out of prison?
No, sir. That's when I got disabled after prison.
Okay. And Joe, is there any money that you could get at the jail today? Any amount at all if it meant getting out of jail?
Today, my girl, my kid's mother that I live with and help take care of our kids at the house while she works, she gets paid today, and she said that she could pay $50 to maybe $100.
Okay.
And I talked to my mother yesterday morning when the officers picked me up, and she said she can try to help my girl out too.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do, Joe. I'll find that you're in contempt for the failed to pay child support. The sanction is 10 days in the county jail starting today, or until you get $50 to the jail. So have somebody get $50 to the jail, and they'll get you out. Okay?
Yes, sir.
But then
or 10 days.
Or you can stay for the 10 days. That's up to you. But as soon as somebody gets $50, then you're out. And then you need to get yourself to the child support enforcement people to get this cleared up. Find some way to get it cleared up, because if you don't go and get it cleared up, they'll start the process over again, and you'll get arrested again. All right?
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, Joe. Good luck. Cordell Frazier. Morning, Cordell. What's your date of birth?
02/10/1987.
Cordell, I have 2 warrants today, both signed by Judge Merritt. He found probable cause for violations of probation in each case. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. Bond on those warrants, Cordell is no bond. I can't change that. I'm going to change the date. They told you April 9th. I'll have you back April 3rd, and the PD will come see you before then, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Michael Heinite.
Hello, sir.
Morning, Michael. What's your date of birth?
12/25/99.
Michael, the charge is battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire a private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD. State.
Your Honor, I'm not showing any history.
And Michael, I have an address for you on Sparkland Way in Wesley Chapel. Is that where you live?
No, that's what I gave the hospital.
Okay.
That's not where I live.
Okay, where do you live?
Technically, nowhere.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
Yes, sir. I started on Sunday.
What are you doing?
Cook at Zaxby's.
Okay. All right. I'll set your bond at $50. Condition of the bond is that you have no contact with Neil Davignon. Did you hear me explain no contact before?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Also have to hold you up until 4 o'clock, so if he wants to serve you with an injunction, we know where to find you. I'll have you back in court on April 11th. When you get out, it's very important that you contact the public defender's office right away, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nathan McClendon?
Yes, sir.
Morning, Nathan. What's your date of birth?
March 31st, 1971, Your Honor.
Nathan, the charge is aggravated assault. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire a private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Private counsel.
Very good. State.
I'm showing a dropped aggravated battery on Pinellas County in 2007, and the defendant also has out-of-state history. I'm showing Louisiana history. I'm showing no disposition for a simple battery. Looks like in 1990. Another simple battery, no disposition in 1998. A theft, no disposition in 1998. An aggravated battery, no disposition in 1999. And a theft charge in 97 with no disposition. But other than that, Your Honor, I'm just showing that there was some sort of reference to an aggravated escape out of Louisiana in 2003 as well.
Nathan, I have an address for you on Ardenwood Drive in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived there?
Since August.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
No, sir.
Okay. And you live with Carmelita?
Yes, sir. That's my wife.
Okay. I'm going to give you the same situation, Nathan. It's a $100 bond and peaceful contact. Were you paying attention when I talked to her about what peaceful contact meant?
Yes, sir, I was. There was no physical contact in this. It was an argument.
Nathan, you don't have to talk about it. I get it. They arrested both of you. I get what's going on. So you guys don't have to have contact going forward with this charge, but I'm saying if you do, it just has to be peaceful, all right?
Yes, sir.
Very good. You'll be back in court on the 9th of April, all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
James Miller. Morning, Mr. Miller. What's your date of birth?
1975.
Mr. Miller, you're here on a warrant that was signed by Judge Toner. Apparently, it failed to appear in his court on 2 counts: fraudulent use of identification and grand theft. As to those charges, you're going to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
Appoint the PD. Judge Toner set your bonds at $4,000 on each count. I can't change that, so that's a total of $8,000. You'll be back in front of him on April 9th. If you get out, you should contact the PD right away. Otherwise, they'll come see you at the jail, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Stephen Morris. Morning, Mr. Morris. What's your date of birth?
3/22/88.
Mr. Morris, I have 4 counts of aggravated assault, 3 counts of child abuse, and 1 count of firing a missile or other object through a dwelling. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll point the PD, state.
Your Honor, I'm not showing any history for the defendant.
And Mr. Morris, I have an address for you on Nancy Avenue in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
5 years.
And your wife and children live there as well?
Not anymore.
Okay. You have a job these days?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
Handyman.
On the 4 counts of ag assault and the 3 counts of child abuse, I'm going to set the bond at $5,000 on each count. That's $35,000 on those 7. I'm going to leave the bond on the firing the 12 gauge at $10,000, so it's going to give you a total bond of $45,000. Condition of the bond will be that you have no contact with any of those folks. Did you hear me explain no contact earlier?
Yes, sir.
And you understood that?
Yes, sir.
In addition, I'm going to hold you up until 4 p.m. so that if they wanted to serve you with a civil injunction, we'll know where to find you. As far as Nancy Avenue goes, if you get out and find that they're still there, then you'll have to stay someplace else until this charge is resolved. You could go by one time to collect your things, your toothbrush, your clothes, whatever you need, but to do that, you've got to contact the public defender's office, or the sheriff's office first. They would meet you there with a deputy who would stand by while you collect your things and got going where you're going. You'll be back in court on the 9th of April. If you get out, you should contact the PD right away. Otherwise, they'll come see you at the jail. Is there something else, Mr. Larson?
The state would ask that there be no contact with any firearms or anything like that, no use of any firearms.
And you show as additional condition of bond is that you'll not use or possess any firearms. All right, so April 9th, Mr. Morris.
Thank you.